Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Margie. Margie is here already, Britt.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
So I would like to, so this is a special Facebook Live, and I would like to welcome Britt, who is one of our members in Beauty Flourishing, and she actually just recently joined Beauty Flourishing. And so I wanted to kind of give you all a little bit of a fresh look tonight into what Beauty Flourishing is like, for someone coming into it, also what Britt's experience and background is so far. And we honestly did not really do any rehearsing or anything. We want to just keep it spontaneous. And in fact, Britt said she was going to write some notes, and we said no, let's just wing it. Do it because that's more fun anyway, because I want this to be just genuine and natural, so you all get a behind the scenes look, because it might still seem kind of abstract to you as far as, so okay, yes, that's interesting, membership for women, but what does it mean and how can it help me? And so any of you, hi Carrie. So any of you joining who are not members, and by the way, Margie and Carrie both are members. So thank you. Oh yes, and thank you for your comments and feedback. Would appreciate it if you definitely chime in for sure. And let us know if any of you who are joining who are not members, if you have any questions, because the membership is going to be open for one more day tomorrow. It's going to close tomorrow, Friday the 27th, on the full moon at midnight Central Standard Time. And I would love for so many more people to come into a beautiful community and enrich our community. And I know what it has to offer to you. And so that's why I'm going to hand it over to you right now, Britt, and so you can maybe share a little bit. So first of all, if you can give us a little bit of your background. And hi, Belinda, by the way. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, if you can tell us just a little bit about your path, spiritual path in life, and what brought you to me.
Oh, sure. And I won't go into too much detail, just to spare you all from that life story. But really, it ended up, I'd engaged in one-on-one counseling about a year prior to joining Beauty Flourishing. Just I had some things transpire in my life that I realized I wanted some help, kind of sorting out and turning 40. And just kind of it's a time, I think, when a very transitional period, and at least it was for me in my life. And so about a year ago, I started counseling, and around April, May of this year, I just realized that I'd gotten a great deal of benefit from that. And I don't, say anything, I don't disparage mental health counseling, but I realized that there was something else that was missing. I just wasn't getting the benefit, or I wasn't moving fast enough, and things weren't happening as quickly as I would like for them to happen. And I'd connected with someone who had mentioned a few times just in passing about, someone that they connect with, or, the Reiki healer. And I finally got up the courage to ask, because I felt like it was very intrusive to do that. But finally one day, my friend shared with me about Silke's art and the community. And I immediately raced back to the office and, joined the community. I, liked Silke's art. I joined the community. And then I started engaging in the intuitive plays. And for me, I feel like in my journey, at least, this was just meant to happen. Silke and the Beauty Flourishing community and the people in Silke's art community, it was just, it was so organic, and it happened, I think, at the time in my life when I needed it. And everything that I've learned subsequently has just verified that, as yes, the universe source, was there, kind of like, hello, we've been sending you these powerful messages. And just in as example, the week before I joined, I kept getting I was obsessed with domes. I work in real estate, and we blog, and I get to do stuff on social media. And I was researching them for my own purposes. I was, researching ones. I live in Florida, and we have these geodesic domes off the Southwest coast, and it was just everywhere. And then Silke had gotten an email from signing up in her Silke's art community, and she has this journey to the healing temple. And I was sitting and doing the meditation, and she walks you through a guided meditation to a geodesic dome. And that's really how sometimes my experiences are, is that it's just So when I get to it, when I finally allow myself to hear the messages that are just there, um, it's like, oh my gosh, those were there for me the whole time. It was like they were, the universe is just out there screaming like, Britt, thank you for tuning in. We're sitting out here, whether it's the angels, the fairies, and these are actually things that, you'll learn about in Beauty Flourishing. But I, I was very reluctant. I don't know if it's a trend for a lot of people or just for me. Although I was spending money on counseling sessions, twice a month and I thought, well, maybe I can reduce to one session and I'll use those monies to sign up for beauty. But I kept talking myself out of it and rationalizing why, I couldn't do it and shouldn't do it. And eventually I don't know, I just jumped because I realized that I guess I feared I was with, the fear of missing out. I was having like extreme FOMO with what was having fear of missing out. I was having extreme FOMO with what was happening, in the Beauty Flourishing community, because what Silke shares, as a complementary, part of her or her Silke's art community with the intuitive play exercises. When I look back over the course of, 6 or 7 weeks, it was a very powerful story. And even just in those couple of intuitive play exercises, I realized that it was something I couldn't ignore anymore. And if I did, it would be to my detriment. And it wasn't something I felt, oh gosh, I've got to do this and I don't want to. There was no reluctance at all. And I joined, and it's amazing. I feel like I joined in June, so I've really been a member for 2 months. I've learned so much. Silke will share, you'll learn about the powers and how to use crystals. You'll learn about, even just in the past couple, there'll be a guided meditation that comes every month, along with an arts and crafts. And some of them are, ones that you'll make, and it's more hands-on. Some are more experiential, but anything from watercolors to creating your own cosmetics and soaps and things, so you can start. I think it all connects. It's all ways I feel like it's helped me become more grounded, more connected. And I think, kind of circling back at the beginning of my journey, I was feeling why I wasn't getting the sense of connection. I wasn't feeling supported and loved by what now I can just say by the universe. I just didn't have that. And I've been able to, through Silke's guidance, and through the lessons that we've had in Beauty Flourishing, and because she does allow us to go back. I mean, I went back to the months that I hadn't been a member and had gone through all of those lessons, and it was, and I hope to look back on this time and be like, oh wow, that was such a magical and special time in my life, when I was able to connect with someone who was a great guide and a great teacher, and allowed me to cultivate and create kind of an interior life that was missing. And that's, why was I feeling such a disconnect? Well, you didn't have any connection to source. There was not, I wasn't building and strengthening my intuitive powers to help guide me through, to my best and highest purpose. And that was really what I was seeking. And I think we're all seekers in this community. And Silke, you can chime in. I feel like I've been talking for a long time.
Gosh, no, this is so amazing. I mean, thank you. Wow. I mean, really, this is profound. And let me see what Margie is saying. Oh, thank you, Margie. No, I mean, honestly, and, to begin with, I want to say what an honor it is, because, like you said, we're all seekers, and I belong to that group of seekers as well, and so for me, it's been a search all my life, and I've just been really fortunate to find amazing teachers who have guided me along the way, and I still keep on learning and growing all the time, and that's the beauty about it. In fact, in one of your emails, you'll see, because I know I've been bombarding all of you who are on my email list with all these emails, except for you guys who are in Beauty Flourishing. So, but everyone else who is not in Beauty Flourishing, they've been bombarded now with emails, because what I've been learning is that I do want to serve at this point, and my mission is to make sure that anyone that can relate to it and that is seeking that they will find that in Beauty Flourishing, and many people will. And so that's kind of my hope. And so I feel like, no, I would be doing anyone a disservice if I'm not putting myself out there. And in fact, one of my teachers one time said, and I've quoted this before in Beauty Flourishing, is that, so if someone is drowning, do you feel like you're just going to stand there and say, hey, I'm not ready yet, I still have this and this to learn, somebody else will come along who can do it better. And that's so much, I think, a thing that we all have and we all kind of carry within us, kind of feeling like, am I ready? Can I really do this? And so for me, honestly, since I've had this beautiful community of women who just keep encouraging, each other, and who are also uplifting me just by all of your presence, really, and by the confirmations that I'm receiving from you, it's really putting me in that space of empowerment as well, to say, yes, I am absolutely in the right place with it. And so thank you so much, for that, for being one of the beautiful people who jumped in and said, yes, let's do it. Let me be part of it. And I think that fear of missing out, I was actually putting that in one of the emails. It's like, come on. So yeah, definitely.
Don't be a victim of FOMO. It's especially if it comes to Beauty Flourishing, and you do. It is the amount, and I didn't even have an idea about what quantity of content, and it's not just the quantity, which there is a great deal of. You are a very, I think you are a producing creator, and I see that in so many aspects, but especially as our guide and teacher, the quality of the content is phenomenal. And I'm, for the price that you're still offering it at, I'm just to, I don't really ever talk dollars and cents, but, for my out of pocket for one counseling session, it's $60. And that was so twice a month I would go. And like I said, I'm not disparaging mental health counseling and talk therapy, but I had reached a point where I was feeling it wasn't enough. And so when I look at, and if I did, and I haven't, but if I compared, what I've accessed and what kind of knowledge I've gained and where I've transformed and manifested things in such a short period of time, it's amazing. That energy exchange almost feels unequal. But that's why, when you asked if I would come on, I don't want to be on front of the camera, but because what was stronger than that, not wanting to put myself out there and be on, camera or see a double chin, is I want to encourage people. If anybody is in this community and is kind of on the fence or thinking they can't, allocate the finances or to make it happen, just to encourage you to do it. I would, it'd be 2 months that I wouldn't have had this benefit. And there's been abundance that has happened. I think I can't explain all, exactly, but I think it has to do with all of the things that are happening, and then I'm learning, and then I'm putting into practice. And that are shifting, and things I'm releasing from my own life that I wasn't able to do that in a traditional, counseling session. And it wasn't what I needed at some point. It was helpful, but I needed other healing modalities. And there are so many that you can access. Silke is a practitioner and a master at so many of the healing modalities that maybe often aren't, first sought out when people are trying to look for answers and for healing. But it's truly an amazing amount of information. And like I said, I can't speak as to length, but I know the 2 months that I've been part of Beauty Flourishing and logging in and doing the activities, and doing the arts and crafts and the meditations, it has really, I know, has been a touch point in which, or an access point upon which my life is going to pivot. And without having that, I don't want to think about that not have happening, because it did happen. I did open that door because I felt there was something behind there that was pushing me into calling, into answering it. And it's not just a log in on Wednesday nights and we, have a group chat, or you do these exercises, it is so much more profound, and connecting. And even I am at a loss of words to articulate the importance to my life. And I hope one day I'll be able to do it in a much more graceful manner. But I am so grateful that people like Silke have opened themselves up and are sharing their gifts and their knowledge. And the other people that are other members of Beauty Flourishing, there are people that I've connected with I wouldn't have connected with otherwise. And even in the 2 short months, these are people that have come to be very important to me, even though I've never met them in real life. Their presence and their beauty and their energy transcends, like time and space and electronics. And it truly is a beautiful space, one that I needed to be part of. And I answered that call. And I'm so proud of myself for doing that. And that's why I do feel empowered to talk about it and to ask, others to look inside themselves. And if you feel that need to, answer it, because it's been one of the best things I've done for myself in quite a few years. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, I mean, I'm almost tearing up here. My heart is just like right now, because that makes me so grateful. That makes me so grateful. That's really all I can say. I mean, it's like I'm just sitting here in gratitude, for the gift all around, So it's just absolutely amazing. God. And thank you everyone for all your beautiful comments. I've been reading them and bringing them up here. And I mean, gosh, thank you. And honestly, I mean, I do have to say, I mean, the community is just unbelievable. I created the safe space, but it would not be safe and it wouldn't be as sacred and as beautiful as it is. And the community wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for all of you and all of your beautiful hearts and your beautiful contributions. And it is just so powerful. It's really the most powerful thing when we can come together and everybody can freely share and know that, it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay, to share, and that everybody is going to pull together, for everyone else. And it's just amazing. So like I said, I'm especially in the Facebook group, I'm just providing the space, but my gosh, all of you are making this happen, and it's so beautiful. So I absolutely love our community, and I'm so grateful. So yeah.
And it's an auspicious time to join with the full moon happening on the 27th. There's a lunar eclipse. I mean, I kind of got a little jealous. I was like, none of this was happening when I joined, but I'm still going to hold that my joining, was a special momentous occasion for me, and I'm sure for Silke and the rest of the members. But yes, there truly is, what a wonderful time of rebirth and manifestation. So, I guess my final word would just be jump,
Yay! Oh my gosh. Thank you. And because you brought up the full moon, and I know several people have actually approached me and been kind of like, hey, do I need to be scared? What's going on? Is there going to be like days of darkness and things? And obviously, I don't know, maybe, who knows, but I'm kind of always still very realistic, and I just look at the energies all around. And to me, honestly, I mean, especially in numerology, the number 27 is just a very pivotal number, and it is a number of manifestation. And in our portal membership in Beauty Flourishing, which is the more expensive one, but we also do a couple other things there as well. In the portal membership, I'm going to go into detail about numerology. So that's one of the perks of the portal membership. But of course, if you guys are in the regular Beauty Flourishing membership, you're getting all of this, and you're getting all of this amazing content that Britt was just sharing as well. So yeah, 27 is a very powerful number for manifestation. And so the full moon being on the 27th, and yes, there is a full moon eclipse, but at the same time, as I was sharing in our group yesterday on my Facebook Live, it is a time of going inward, and it's in the darkness is a time of beauty, because that's where the new seeds are being germinated, and we grow in the darkness in our mom's bellies, and so it's a beautiful time for inception. It's a beautiful time for renewal and for regeneration, and so that's how I look at it. For me, I always see everything positive. and even if things are not quite there, then I try to shift them around as much as possible. And usually, being guided and being supported. I mean, like you were saying, we have those signs and we have our intuition. We have all these beautiful things around us all the time. So yes, it's absolutely very auspicious. So for anyone joining, like right now, this is the last opportunity to get into the regular membership at the founding members price, and at the same time, very auspicious and very amazing time right now to join. And gosh, Britt, thank you so much. And thank you everyone else that came on and talked about it. I guess the last thing I wanted to ask you, because you did have a healing session with me, and I know many times, I mention like my numerology readings, and people are like, well, what's a numerology reading? I don't know. So maybe if you could just speak to that for a minute, that would be wonderful to hear.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Part of my wanting to connect with Silke is about, sorry, I can hear myself, so it's like feedback. One of the first sessions that I had with Silke, because beyond Beauty Flourishing, I have engaged with her in one-on-one sessions, and Silke did share in terms of numerology. Just with my birth date, she gave me insights to my life number, which is 11, and it has provided me with a deeper understanding and another level of knowledge about myself, and understanding, oh, no wonder I kept coming up against some of these, obstacles in my life, or abrasions, or it was difficult for me in certain situations. And learning that I do need to protect myself psychically and with energy, because just the way I came out in this world, if I don't, it's difficult. The path is more difficult. And so with numerology, it's been great to see that there are ways to look at, and it's another way to look at the world around you. And I do think that I have a background, my undergraduate degrees in linguistics. And so I'm very much tied to languages, and that's sometimes how I see a lot of things, is through the ability to communicate and through how languages are structured. And so for me, with my numerology session, after I left it, I just learned that there was another language, and maybe languages, that I needed to become fluent in. And that, for me, I think of how I mentally sometimes frame things as how I get comfortable with them and move forward. And I was just like, well, Silke is going to be the person who helps me, my teacher, who's going to, my foreign language teacher, when it comes to spirit and to energy. Yeah. And so, the language of numbers, is something that is very powerful and all around us, sacred geometry. So it's, once you start to learn to speak these languages, it's amazing what the different levels and the things you can hear, and the ways the world starts to communicate with you. So It's amazing. It's all about, for me, it was all about, especially with the language of numbers, and with sacred geometry, once you, and believe me, mine is only a passing acquaintance at this point. So like I said, I kind of sit back with a spirit of awe and wonder, and think, what could this hold, the deeper I allow myself to journey into this and learn more. So it just, every day there's something more that I'm excited about. And with my numerology session with Silke, it's a great way to engage, and start to kind of put a couple toes in the water if you aren't, ready to even jump in the shallow end or to start swimming. Because I think some of the validations and the information that you get just will start moving things around. And so it was just another way of looking at the world, and start looking at myself and the people around me. And it really has been transformational, like I said, even within the last 2 months, and how I start viewing my world, my place in it, and how I interact and go about my day in that world with this new information.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything becomes really, truly magical, when we understand sacred geometry and numerology. I mean, it is really the basis of everything. And definitely for me, when I started learning it and kept growing with it, I mean, everything now, I look at everything in shapes and colors and in numbers now, and it is absolutely amazing. Hi, Tammy, and welcome, Linda, by the way. And Linda said that it confirms for her that she's in the right place, and she can't wait to join. Oh my gosh, we would love to have you, Linda. That's so exciting. And Tammy, so happy to hear you here as well, and everyone else. And yeah, I mean, just looking at a flower and understanding, the sacred geometry behind it, and then opening up a fruit, like the melons right now that we get fresh at the moment, from the farmers. And I open up a melon, I'm like, you have this structure to you, It's just so amazing when the world opens up and we realize that everything in creation, is based on numerology and on sacred geometry and how it all plays together. And so thank you for sharing all of that. I so appreciate it. And thank you for giving me your time this evening, Britt, and for, all the beautiful contributions. And like I said, I'm so grateful that you're in this community because you're such a bright light. And I know Margie was saying earlier, you don't have a double chin and you are absolutely gorgeous. And I think she was referring to your eyes too. And you are so bright and so beautiful. So I'm so grateful that you are in my Beauty Flourishing community, and so grateful for everyone else who is, and Tammy is, and everyone else is. And Linda, I can't wait to welcome you into Beauty Flourishing. So excited. And I will be sharing this tomorrow in an email too, and we'll be sharing it elsewhere too, probably put it on my YouTube too. So I hope we still have many more women who are ready to dive in and to grow on their spiritual path joining. So thank you again, Britt. I appreciate it. And thank you all for being here this evening. And my heart feels so full now, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you, and I will see you all in Beauty Flourishing. You have a beautiful day. Bye. Thank you, everyone, and namaste. I'm grateful. Bye.